Tech in Asia is definitely the largest tech news media in Singapore and in Asia, and I think in the world right now. And this is the English media, which is serving technology news, Asian technology news throughout the world right now.
Let's talk about, so let's see, do you recognize this? This is Nest. This is most probably one of the first IoTs that was acquired by some player. This is one of the first IoT which became very popular. This is called Nest, and this was acquired by Google for $3.2 billion. Talking about what is hot, I think IoT is the first thing that comes to our mind, Internet of Things. So let's look at what are the biggest IoT movements we have seen in the recent days. There are two companies, Nest, and there is another company called SmartThings. Nest was built in 2010 and it was in Silicon Valley, and it grew into a $3.2 billion company in no time. SmartThings is a company from Washington DC, and this is a company which did IoT in different areas. For example, it provided IoT for home locking system, security system, and many other things. If you look at these two companies, these are the two big newses we have heard when it comes to IoT. Google purchased Nest for $3.2 billion last year, and Samsung bought SmartThings for $200 billion. Is IoT the next biggest boom? And that's the question that everybody is wondering, that what is it that is happening in IoT? The big companies are thinking, should I get involved in IoT? The small startups are thinking that how can I build a startup which can actually be in the IoT space? I remember that Eric Schmidt, who is the current chairman of Google, he actually in CES 2015 and also in Davos during the big conference of the financial conference, he was mentioning that internet is going to disappear. He said that we will have so many sensors and so many things around us which will be connected to internet, we'll forget that there is internet is still there. We'll no longer sense the internet anymore. And that is obviously is going to happen because IoT is going to become really big. How big? Let's look at some of the large corporations and what the large corporations have done. Microsoft. Microsoft has actually put together, they said last year that if you have a device which is 9-inch or smaller, they are going to provide you, if you are building an IoT device, they are going to provide you Microsoft for free. Why they are going to give you Microsoft for free? Because they are trying to get business from these IoT providers just by having their Azure system, which is the cloud and big data and analytics system behind it. But on the background, they are trying to get business from their cloud services and big data services. Intel also has taken steps to actually address the IoT market. Intel has put together a special developer board called Galileo, and Galileo, they have given it to all corporations, and they have put together partnerships with all large corporations from SAP to Tata in India all the way, and Toyota in Japan, to actually have them use Intel Galileo board to build their next IoT device. There are big public corporations also who are starting to embrace IoT, and this is a very good example. This is the subway system in London. How? Microsoft, Telnet and sensor provider worked together, and what they did in, they addressed some of the issues that London subway system had. Their maintenance and repair was managed by so many different divisions. No division talked to another division effectively, and that was really problematic. If they have a repair problem, it was very difficult for the management to address that in an effective way. So they worked together and put all the sensors all over the subway stations, everywhere, from the escalator to their HVAC air conditioning system, to their sensor, to their security system. And you know what? London subway system reduced their cost by 30%. They became 30% more effective just by adopting IoT into the whole subway system. Let's have a peek of the subway system.
The iconic London Underground is the world's first underground railway. We wanted to help rail organisations like London Underground modernise the systems that monitor its critical assets. Everything from escalators and lifts and HVAC control systems to CCTV and communication networks. This collaboration includes taking advantage of the Microsoft Azure Intelligent Systems Service. Meaningful data from sensors and intelligent edge devices on everything from temperature, vibration and humidity to fault warnings and system alerts.
Startups have not stopped doing that. Startups also are embracing IoT in a different way. We as Phenox, we're a Silicon Valley based firm, we have invested in a company called EDOIN. This company, they do IoT for gardens. So if you have a garden, this company provides a special monitoring device that you put it in your garden. It understands how much moisture your soil has. It understands how much sunlight you need. So it tells your cell phone that most probably you should adjust your watering system so that your plants will not die. So this is a system that I have personally invested in, and this is a good example of a startup that you should not only build social network again and again, do something else. Maybe build a next device for IoT which helps your garden and agriculture. I'm just trying to give all of you, there are so many entrepreneurs here, I'm trying to give you a feel that you can be different and you can build a unique product, and maybe IoT is the space where you want to play a role. Let's look at the growth of our Internet of Things. In 2014, there are 14.2 billion devices that got connected to Internet. In 2015, that number is going to rise all the way to 18.2 billion. Guess what? In 2020, there are going to be 50 billion devices that will be connected to the Internet. And you want to be part of that, and that's what I'm trying to convey with my speech here. Let's look at how much that will add to the economy. That will add $1.9 trillion of economic value to the worldwide economy. If you might be from a very large corporation here, you might be from a startup, you might be a professor, but you need to figure out a way so that you can be part of this big revolution in the IoT space. Let's look at what are the specific area. If you look at IoT, there are thousands of things you can do, but let's find out the areas that where you can be successful. This is just my point of view based on some of the research I have done. First area where you want to build a startup most probably, or as a large corporation you want to get involved, is the space of health IT. Health IT can mean hospital. Hospital, the beds to every single room can be connected to internet. Children and elderly. Elderly problem is a big problem in many advanced countries like US, in Japan. Elderly taking care, IoT can play a big role. Sensors all over the place can detect how they are moving, their movement to everything. The second area where there is a big opportunity of improvement is the manufacturing space. All the machines are running. They should be able to control from one dashboard from your cell phone most probably. And there are a lot of innovations that need to be done. I have talked to my friend who have told me that if you have a big manufacturing space and you have one router sitting at the corner of your room, it's very difficult to replicate that and control all the machines with one internet connection. There are a lot of innovations that need to happen to really make manufacturing IoT possible. Third thing, retail business. Retail is another space where we see a lot of opportunity. Now, when you are inside a store, you see push notifications in your phone saying that, oh, there is a discount in the coffee that you have in front of you. That is what we need. Customer analysis and what your behavior is and what you want is all about what IoT can give you. Let's switch gear and talk about wearables, because this is the next hot thing most probably. And I know that there are a lot of wearables that you are wearing today. Let's talk about this domain. Let's first look at a very interesting device. I have picked up a very interesting device. This looks like a box phone to you, but this is not. It is a digital deodorant. What it is going to do, if you have it in your body, it is going to tell you when it gets stinky, it's going to give you a push notification that you are going to sound very stinky right now, and you're going to smell really bad. You better not meet your girlfriend. I also heard that it is going to be able to spray some fragrance to actually make you feel better. So this is what Google has filed and has created a big buzz in Silicon Valley. Let's look at a different thing. This is also another patent that Google has filed earlier this year, and this is a device that you will be wearing. This can actually help you take preventive measures from cancer. So it can actually put some special type of acoustics or beam to actually hit your blood cells so that your blood cells will not generate the enzymes and hormones that can cause cancer. So this is some of the innovations in the wearable space. I'm sure that you know that how many steps you are running. Fitbit can do that, and Jawbone can do that, and Nike can do that. Jawbone is another one. I think many of you are wearing that today. They can actually tell you how to lead a good life. They tell you how many steps you are walking, how much you have to eat, and everything else. And Jawbone has grown really big. So let's look at the growth of the shipped units in wearable space. There were 19.6 million devices shipped in the wearable space. In 2015, that number is going to grow 133%. And in 2019, that number is going to grow 126%, making the last 5 years CAGR to 45%. That's really amazing growth. And that's why most probably wearable is another interesting space. Look at Oculus. This is one of the devices that actually gives you a virtual reality experience. So someone was asking Mark Zuckerberg that what did you do with Oculus and what you want to do with it? And he said, I want to give people the virtual experience. People wanted to do a lot of things. If they're sitting in their office, I wanted to give them that experience with virtual reality with Oculus. That's why maybe they made the acquisition last year for $2 billion. So there is another device. So what I have done, I also think that virtual reality and wearable devices in this space is very important. So I have actually invested in a company called Meta. This is what you see. This also can actually do augmented reality and virtual reality. It can actually merge virtual reality and reality together, and you can see a augmented view of things. So this is, let's talk about wearable and where to focus for the entrepreneurs here. industry workers can be one good target, because industry workers are already wearing wearables, and so industry workers can be a very good target for you. Also healthcare space, do not forget that, because a lot of revenue can come from this space, a lot of need is there in this space. So please target the healthcare space as well. There was record investment in the healthcare space, health IT space. If you look at it, the telehealth market itself, in 2013 it was $440 million, and in 2018 it is predicted to be $4.5 billion. Let's look at the wearable in the global healthcare market. It is going to be $41 billion in 2020. That's how big this health IT is going to become. So large corporations have already started taking steps. Look at IBM, what they are doing. IBM has created a special project called Watson Health. Watson is the research center. I used to work in IBM. So Watson Health, and what they have done, when Apple came up with Apple Watch, they have created Watson Health, and they want to take care of all the big data analysis for them. Not only that, they have also earlier this year have acquired Exploris and Fitel, two of the prominent startups in the health IT cloud space. So the large corporations are taking a step. Here I want to talk about a startup that I have invested also. I do not want to stop, because IBM is doing something, I want to do something as well. So I have invested in a company called Analytics ND. It puts sensor in the hospital equipment and hospital things, so that you can actually rotate the customers in an effective fashion. So for example, if you are in an operating room and then there is open space with sensors and detection, the IoTization, you can actually have more efficiency and you can save a lot of money. Security is something in the health IT space that's going to become very, very big. And then the next space is going to become very big is interoperability, because today you are collecting all the data is not responding to the customer. We need to make a lot of improvement in this space when it comes to health IT. Finally, let's talk about the trend. As you are building a startup, 4 different things need to come into picture: mobile, social, cloud, and big data.